Now, if you can tell us, what do you think is the correlation between what we're hearing on the radio and in this music and what we're seeing in the streets?
This music is giving instructions, behavioral instructions. Like we mentioned earlier, it's culture, it's people's way of life in the music. And the lyrics in the music are telling us to do some of the things that we're seeing. You know, people a lot of times says that art imitates life. Well, it goes the other way around too. Life imitates art. And, you know, the powers that be, the people that push this poison, know it. We just need to realize it. And once we realize it, put a stop to it. But yeah, we say a lot of times when we see, like in 2000, I think 17 or maybe it was 16, when 12 people were being shot every day in Chicago, we said, well, they're just following the conflict resolution instructions on these, in the lyrics on this music being played on the radio stations. You know, and sometimes
conflict resolution.
Yeah, conflict resolution instructions. You know, and that's what the music says. You know, it's sometimes not even a conflict. You know, they'll be rapping about some pornography or something, and all of a sudden, run up in your house with the shotty. No, even not even not even a conflict going on in the song, but I'm running up in your house with the shotty, and your mama might be at home, by the way. You know.
So there's actually lyrics like that.
Oh yeah, and your mama might be at home. I went to some lyrics that talked about shoot up your mama and your grandmama house. Keep shooting until somebody die. You're gonna hear so many gunshots, you're gonna think it's the 4th of July. Now we heard that song. We were on our way to a vigil in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago where four Africans were shot, and this is what the radio station was playing on our way to the vigil. We turned it on to monitor, and that's what we heard.
Wow, wow. Talk about the ownership of some of these radio stations.
Like, for instance, in the Chicagoland area where I dwell, there's 2 stations that specifically target young Africans, and they are Power 92.3 WPWX, which is a Crawford broadcasting station. They own radio stations all around the country, mainly gospel and conservative talk. We call their headquarters in Colorado to complain, or in California, while we're put on hold. We're here gospel. We're here John chapter 18, verse 6. That's what we'll be listening to. But then you go back to the station in Chicago that targets young Africans. It's, you know, amen, I'm finna kill ends in the building. Amen. She wants to get on, she wants to F. I tell her, get on top and roller coaster. Preach. I'm a God in the hood. Chop and make an end, hop a 10-foot wall. I'm blessed because the P is good. This is the type of music we hear. Type of gospel music or blasphemous music we hear on Crawford's conservative and Christian talk radio networks in the Chicagoland area, specifically targeting young Africans. We hear pornographic, violent music mixed in with songs about being blessed, entitled Amen, entitled God, titled Sanctified. I don't trust no end, all I trust is my God. So, and when it comes to the other station, which is an iHeart station, sometimes we call them No Heart station. They have no heart, but they own 8 stations, the licenses for 8 stations in Chicagoland. Now, the people own the stations, but they can buy the licenses for a certain period of time. And so, of those 8 stations, the only one that disrespects their listeners constantly is the one that targets African children. That's WGCI. The only one. I just heard, we were just talking about it earlier. I heard 2 songs today coming over here, back to back, about running up on you, aiming at your forehead. And the next song came on, both songs about shooting you in your head. 2 songs in a row about shooting you in your head on the iHeart station, WGCI. That's the one they have that targets young Africans. They also have a station that targets young Europeans. It's called KISS. There was a study done from the Just Do Better group out of Jacksonville, Florida, a couple years ago. White Mike leads that group. And there's a TED Talk with him talking about this. KISS, the white station that iHeart owns in Chicago for young white children, gives them 1 sexual reference, while GCI gives us 25. A 25-to-1 ratio of sexual references. Same age group, same corporation. One's white, one's black. The black station, the African station gets 25 references of sex for every one that KISS gets, the white station gets.
Wow.
When it comes to violence, it's even worse. Every time they have one violent reference in their songs, we have a 50-to-1 ratio of violence on WGCI as compared to KISS. Both of them control licenses ran by iHeart.
For our viewers, where would they find this study at? Where would they find it?
Look up Just Do Better. And also there's a TED Talk, type in White Mike. I think TED Talk, he talks about that. He talked about how you go up the radio dial from 87, whatever, all the way to 107.9. The only time you will hear songs on the radio with people bragging about shooting and killing people is when there's stations that are targeting young black people. The only time. Wow. So we say it's time to clear the airways. It's been time to clear the airways of this madness.
So you think it's a conscious attempt to, you don't think it's accidental about these numbers, about the sex and the violence references?
No, I think it's done on purpose. We met with Crawford Brass, we met with the iHeart Brass in Chicago a couple times, and they know exactly what they're doing. They try to justify it, saying that, that's what the people want to hear, or if we don't play it, somebody else is going to play it, or they say they're going to make some changes, and they really don't. It's gotten worse. So, no, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it for a reason. Again, it's just up to us now to take our head out of the sand and put a stop to it. We can put a stop to it. We must put a stop to it.
How do you rebut or retaliate or refute when people tell you that you're sounding like C. Dolores Tucker, or you're sounding like Calvin Butts back in the days of when censorship of explicit lyrics started to come on to appear on albums? How do you compare and contrast what you're doing to what those activists were doing 20 years ago?
I love C. Dolores Tucker. We had a forum recently in Chicago where this came up, and we have these posters. I have one with me. I don't know what I did with it, but it says, "Black women are not B's and H's." Mm-hmm. And one of the things I said, it's a damn shame that we even have to create something like this. Mm-hmm. If we had listened to C. Dolores Tucker 25 years ago, we wouldn't have to be having this conversation at all right now. So I have no problem with the work C. Dolores Tucker was doing. Some people say that, maybe we should start promoting more of the conscious artists. But back then, a lot of the conscious artists' music was being played. Mm-hmm. But right now, in terms of censorship, these radio stations censor the music. If it's not talking about materialism, if it's not talking about being a stripper, if it's not calling you a B or H or N, if it's not talking about killing somebody, they censor it. They don't play it. So they're the censors, not us.
It's like reverse censoring.
Yes. Like, for instance,
make it more vulgar.
For instance, Lupe Fiasco, one of the most respected, best hip-hop artists in the world. Mm-hmm. He has a new album out. Gets no play on Chicago hip-hop radio. You never hear it on Chicago hip-hop radio. The album just came out.
And he's from Chicago.
And he's from Chicago. Wow. Gets no play. So they censor the music. So no, Calvin Butts, C. Dolores Tucker, the work that they did was important. The work that Delma Coates did, the work that Minister Paul Scott, Brother Conrad Muhammad at the time, Reverend Conrad Tillage now, Bob Law, Melba Moore. This work that these brothers and sisters did was very important then and still important now, and some of them are still doing the work. C. Dolores Tucker's predecessor, Dr. Ife Williams, is working with us on this Respect Us campaign, where we're saying no more demeaning and degrading music that calls for violence against women in general, and black women in particular, is to be tolerated. And so, I love the work that Calvin Butts is still up with us today, mm-hmm. with this movement.
When did you see the change in music, in hip-hop, on radio? When did you see that things were really shifting in a more negative trajectory?
One of the things we talked about this earlier, but I did not mention was the bands. They got rid of our bands. Uh-huh. So, and it was, I think that's kind of like a capitalistic, selfish thing, because you had, like, George Clinton, a little different. They had about 40, 50 people in their band, but right. Cameo, 12, 13 people, Brick, right. 5 people, Confunction, 7, 8 people. Just bands with us playing instruments and all that creativity coming together, making this beautiful, funky, mellow, whatever type of music, people actually singing. So when I saw that happen, Michael Cooper goes solo, Lionel Richie goes solo, these artists go solo. And so Jeffrey Osborne takes away the band type of thing and makes it more of an individualistic piece. So we stopped, not that we stopped playing music that we can't play good music. But they start promoting that individualism, selfishness, ties into it. And then hip hop, I'm a hip hop head. I love hip hop music. But then, as a DJ, I'm DJing at a skating ring back when I was in college, and I'm 18, 19, maybe 20 years old, and young sister comes up to me at a teenage skating party, wants to hear Throw That D, or Hey, we want some PUSs from 2 Live Crew. I'm like, I'm not playing that. Other DJs may play, I'm not playing that. So I realized then it's not, something's happening here, and we got to do something about it. But also, I think a change happened during hip-hop, during the golden age of hip-hop, when we were listening to music that was uplifting, that was talking about our history, envisioning a better future. The powers that be saw that, so, oh no, y'all dancing to this? Oh, we gotta put a stop to this. Kool Moe Dee with Knowledge is King. You party and dancing, you don't ever glance at a book or look for your mind to advance. Talking about wars, killing people we never saw before. Some don't even know what they're fighting for. We're following rulers instead of the prophets. The wicked can rule you, but knowledge can't stop it. The souls can't be controlled because it's a spiritual thing, but you got to have knowledge. Knowledge is king. Like, we can't have that.
Wow, so that was so powerful. They had to make a conscious attempt to snuff that out.
Yes. And we party and dancing to that. So they'll take the same beat, and then they'll have Snoop and Dre on there talking about gin and juice with the same beat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Explain the economy of today's, so-called ratchet or wretched rap, insofar as the concerts are concerned. You know that nowadays, record sales are null and void, so mainly it's concerts where these artists make money. Explain the preponderance of the white fans that come out in thousands to these festivals and to these rap shows, and just elaborate on that.
Yeah, I was looking at a documentary on, I think it was on lynching or something, and the brother talked about how in the 1890s the number one form of entertainment in this country was minstrel shows during the 1890s, around the turn of the century. And we're like, it's back to that again. Except for these minstrel shows today are violent and pornographic. And so I'll look at a video or check out this concert fest that was done in Florida, but the tickets were $300 to $800. The masses of us can't afford that, but they can. So they'll go there to listen to these artists, Ugly God and a little Uzi Vert and a little Lucifer, I guess is how you can, if you say his name fast. And these artists, they'll throw in a big crit and maybe put in a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole in there also, but then they're dropping N-bombs also on the masses in front of these white folks. And they'll go up there and love it. They'll love to hear us talk about shooting and killing each other and disrespecting our women. So they make a lot of money on these concerts nowadays because, like you mentioned, they don't sell as many records anymore. And that's a problem. So that's a problem. There was a video of a white girl that got up on stage with Kendrick Lamar in Alabama, mind you, dropping N-bombs, repeating the lyrics in the song in Alabama. And so he finally's like, oh, we can have this. So he puts her off the stage. But then I see another video where everybody in the crowd is dropping N-bombs. And all I see is Europeans in the crowd in Alabama with Kendrick Lamar on stage dropping N-bombs. Wow. This is how crazy this has become. And these concerts do well all around this country because it's a minstrel show. And one of the things that Bob Law points out is that one of the reasons why these artists drop so many N-bombs or make sure they use the N-word is to assure their white handlers that they're not talking about disrespecting their daughters or that they're not talking about killing their sons. When they talk about pulling up on you, aiming at your forehead. So they drop the N-bomb in there.
So in other words, it's a way to differentiate. Well, let's put it this way. It's a way for them to live vicariously without it coming close to home.
You hit it on the head. It's like, it's something for them to laugh at. And, like I said, live vicariously through this music. And we try to live it. We try to... we try to live that out. We think that's the hip thing for us to do. And again, they laugh at it. Sometimes they get a little collateral damage and what have you. We got some artists now like the Post Malone, that they love too, whose song starts off with "I've been popping pillies, F&Bs like a rock star, which becomes the pull up on your block, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. That becomes the song and a video of the year. 2008, the song of the year. That's how it starts out.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
So it's easing over in their community too. But again, more so, we're trying to live it. We're trying to handle our conflicts by shooting and killing each other.
So, but tell us, it seems now that there is a slight push. I know you've been a sort of a voice in the wilderness, but now it seems like there's more of a push for more responsible lyrics. Is that coming as a result of necessity, the peril in the streets, or just the condition of our people? Why do you think this is happening now?
All that, all what you just said. We must put a stop to this. There's no, otherwise it's genocide. It's a genocidal, fratricidal music that's promoting that sort of behavior. And we must put a stop to it. So, and the people know, when we talk to the people, they realize how horrible the music is overall. I guess they don't monitor in a lot of cases as much as we do. But the people realize, especially the children. The children know there's a problem. We get very little pushback from the children. We're talking about even high school and below, from the content of this music and how it affects the people. Where we get the most confrontation from is the adults who say, well, not my kids, or just turn it off, or they just want to make money. Because they're not really listening. They're not hearing the music in a lot of cases.
Well, let me understand this correctly, if I'm hearing what you're saying. You're saying that, and you might want to talk about the lectures that you give, the presentation, but you're saying that the kids are more receptive to your message than adults?
The children understand. Even though they'll say, yeah, well, when we talk to them, they'll talk about the artists that they like, they'll talk about the artists that they like, a lot of these ratchet artists. But at the same time, because they listen to it and they hear the lyrics, they know, oh, well, I can't really play that around my mama, or if my mama or daddy is playing that, I got to kind of halfway close my ears, or they're telling me that it ain't cool, or I'm just listening on my own while they're playing it and knowing as a child that it ain't cool. They be talking, I don't want my little sister acting like this. I don't want anybody to kill my uncle or my daddy or me. So they hear it, and the children understand how horrible it is. But it's our job as adults to protect our children, and we're not doing that. Our children are children. Like Coach Powell said, they can't fend for themselves. So we as adults have to protect them. That's why we have this Respect Us campaign. That's why we work with Clear the Airways Project and the National Black Leadership Alliance and the National Congress of Black Women and other organizations. Philip Jackson's Black Star Project was working with us too. Other organizations who are saying, oh, enough. You have to put a stop to this stuff. And we can. And we can. There's some examples of, us defeating these big major conglomerates. I mean, television, just as an example, when they had sorority sisters out. Well, the sororities got together and wrote letters and demonstrated, and a sorority sister show that was denigrating black women is gone on college. It's gone. And so, no, don't just leave it there. All of our sisters, potential sorority sisters, are just potential women. They don't need to be inundated with this negativity. Like there's a song about booty, 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 just booty. Booty, booty. It's just, all they say is booty much, pretty much in the song. Yeah, pretty much the lyrics. But one of the lyrics also, they say, show your mama she made a hoe.
What?
Yes, show your mama she made a hoe. Mike Tyson on the booty, 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 booty. And I'm like, no. It's unacceptable to be having that crap constantly being played, encouraging our daughters to be strippers, to be demeaned, to be disrespected. Time out for that. I was in Philly, and there was a song on Power 99.9, Top 9 at 9. This is another iHeart station like WGCI. They own stations all around the country. So the song came on called Rover 2.0. They're using the Range Rover to do drive-bys. The artist starts off, the top's missing from his Rover or something, and so is your boo. We got her, she gonna eat our whole crew. So they're gonna kidnap your girl and sexually assault her. Make her give oral sex to your whole crew. Wow. First line in the song, Top 99 in Philadelphia. Then the next song was an artist talking about That's On Me, another song I just heard on the radio just now, where he says in that song, it's his chopper, or his gun, whatever, got a beam on it. He gonna hit you in the spleen with it. Baby girl, swallow me, deep throat me, gargle me. Hot rotation. Every day, all day on the radio. Ask any child. They know the lyrics to that. Baby girl, swallow me, deep throat me, gargle me. in hot rotation. By the way, this brother was shot up. They said he shot his car. Child told me when we did a presentation last month in Chicago, sixth grader said, oh yeah, his car got shot up, I think 18, 20 times on the Dallas highway. He got hit, I think, 2 or 3 times. He survived. He's in Chicago maybe this week or next week for a concert, the artist out of Dallas, along with these 2 sisters out of Florida with a bag at or something. I want a new crib that I can F in and a new Benz coupe that I can S in. And my edits are better than the radio's edits right now. This is nonstop on the radio stations that target our children. They don't stop, and it's all around the country. Containment areas where Africans are struggling to survive of America. This is what they're giving to our children constantly.
Wow. Do you feel that this also feeds the prison industrial complex?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it feeds the prison industrial complex. It feeds the murder rates. It feeds the single-family home rates. It feeds the higher rates of students not graduating from high school. It feeds the reading scores. All of that. It's done on purpose, bro. It's done on purpose. And again, a lot of us realize this, but we have to put in the energy and work to stop it. I mentioned the sorority sisters, Baba Kwesi Harris, who worked with the African American Resource Center at Chicago State. You know, before he was doing that, he was working at Bobby Wright, our great psychologist, place over in Chicago. He's an ancestor now, but he saw that they were using, they were using hip hop to try to get more cigarette smokers, because you know that's who they target. They target the children. They target with the camel.
Right.
So
mascot.
Yeah, so they said, okay, we got this cool DJ mix contest. And at these events they were having, they were giving out cigarettes, just giving them out to people for free. So we organized, worked with Kwesi on this, mobilized, organized, got some founders of rap music, hip hop, got a bunch of us together, some activists, even got some of the artists to work with us, and put a stop to it. You know, Brown and Williams from Tobacco Company went under. They went under. They were sued. Attorney General sued them. And no more cool DJ mix contests. And now today, they said, I just saw a study, I think it was like 14% of U.S. people in the U.S. now smoke cigarettes. And you know, like I know, that's crazy. That's good.
Yeah, because it used to be much, much higher.
And so they wanted new cigarette smoke. So that's a big beast. Mm-hmm. So we defeated them in Gary, Indiana, where we're struggling, big time struggling. Big second largest prison company in the whole world came to Gary, GEO, talking about Gary employment opportunities. We need jobs out here. They wanted to build a prison in Gary and surrounding areas too, but when they came to Gary, they thought they had it. Right. No, we stopped them. Right. We organized, we got together and stopped the second largest prison company in the whole world to put a facility in struggling Gary. And we stopped them. We put a stop to it. So once you organize, you can do it. And so we're organizing right now. Right now, we have economic sanctions against Kohl's, against McDonald's, JCPenney, Adidas, and Subway restaurants. They're not all of the sponsors, but they are major sponsors of these radio stations that play this poison that targets our children. I was in Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma City? Oklahoma City. No, I'm sorry, it was Tulsa. And this is what I was hearing on the station out there. Mostly white DJs and all that, but it was Kohl's, and the music was horrible. So I said, Kohl's, we're going to have to get Kohl's too. Kohl's broadcasts and finances these radio stations in Chicagoland too that play that poison. And that's how they make their money, mainly is via advertisers.
What would be an action plan for parents and concerned adults to join in this fight or to affect some kind of change in the lyrics?
Couple things that the parents can do, that the people can do. Again, join us in this campaign, this Respect Us campaign, and demand that this music respects us. Start respecting ourselves more. And that's tough when mass media show you everything but respect. Monitor what your children listen to. You know, people talk about if it's porno on in your house, you don't just go turn it off and go upstairs and go to your room and leave it out there for your children to still consume it or watch it. No, you make sure it's off totally. And you go at the cable company, whatever company, for even airing that crap. And that's what this music is, nothing but porno music, but it's violent porno music. materialistic point of music. So monitor what your children listen to. File a complaint with the FCC. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, they say that no profane or indecent content on these radio stations governed by the FCC between 6 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night, because those are times that our children may be listening. So no profane or indecent content during that time. Now between 10 o'clock at night and 6 in the morning, they allow a little bit of that. There's another criteria, though, which is obscene music. They say obscene content is never allowed. And so they play obscene content all the time.
Some of the lyrics that you just quoted seems obscene to me.
Very, very much obscene. And so file a complaint. The process takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Go to the FCC website and file a complaint. We've had comrades with Rage Against the Ratchet who did this work out of Philly and got a radio station to go under. You know, he called up, why y'all stop? What happened? We couldn't afford to keep paying those fines. So they stopped playing the ratchet music. Get with your city council. The city council of Gary followed suit of the city council in, I believe it was Dover, Delaware, who put together a resolution condemning the local radio stations that play this violent pornographic music targeting our children. The city of Gary did the same thing. The city of Chicago has a copy of this. So does New York, so does Detroit. We need other cities to do this. So this can be stopped. It can be stopped very soon. Soon we'll be meeting with some of these corporations in New York City. It's a Madison Avenue symposium on lyrics. And we're going to get with these corporations who are financing the broadcasting of these lyrics on the radio stations and other media outlets. And so we're working it. We got to do something, but we need the people's support.
Let's look at the future and maybe utopian and maybe realistic. What should music get back to, in your estimation? What should be happening?
Man, I want to hear some more instruments, man. I mean, I listen to The Roots, which is one of my favorite, and they got one of the best hip hop lyricists of all time, Black Thought, with them. But they play music. You know, I want to hear some more music, and they got other artists who play music too. And even when you see some of these ratchet artists in their concerts, they'll bring a band with them. But I want to hear some more music. And Nancy Wilson just passed away, and I saw a great video, 1962, this morning with Oscar Brown Jr. introing her and doing a commentary. And one of the things he talked about was lyrics. Back then, he said the lyrics should mean something. And when you got something that means something, then you sing them. So I want our music to get back to that. And the thing about it is, brother, is that a lot of the music, we have a lot of music already that's still doing that. You know, it's still a lot of great hip-hop music that's still doing that, but it just does not get played. It's being censored out. You know, it's being censored out. It's a damn shame that every time our young women want to go out to have a party, they got to dance to being called B's and H's, and to being told that they should be strippers, and being told that their potential husbands and that their boyfriends and their brothers and their fathers should be shooting and killing each other. It's just, you know, sometimes I'm amazed at that. That's what we come in this music. How did we come to such a pass? And I'm amazed also that we have not put a stop to it yet. But we're going to. With your help, though. We need the people's help.
Well, thank you, Brother Kwabena. This has been instructive, and I hope we can continue this and keep talking about this subject. And I hope we see some bright spots along the way. Oh, yeah. It shows that this thing is going to change over before too long.
It has to.
Indeed. Closing comments.
You almost pretty much said it. We just need the people's help to make this happen. And it does need to be everybody, because everybody doesn't agree. But for those of us who agree, who understand that it's not cool for us to, every time we turn the radio on, to be called the N-word, to have N-bombs dropped on us, to be told that our mothers and our daughters and our sisters and our aunties are B's and H's, and being told that we should kill each other. And it's blatant on these radio stations and other media outlets. Is not right, and we have to put a stop to it. We have to get control and put a stop to it.